Hello and welcome everybody to the officially named The Flop and the Prop. The people have spoken.
Yeah, the people have spoken. Again, the people are listening to the wrong people who have voted for this. The flop. Look, I don't mind it. I've come to terms with it. But I thought my rugby league career was a bit better than...
Oh, Hyundai sign falling in the background.
I said, give it 2 minutes.
Didn't last 2 minutes?
No. What sign was that for?
Hyundai. So
Who was it for?
Hyundai, the car, the vehicle. Just
we'll
probably,
there,
we'll just prop that. We'll keep that rolling. Shout out to Hyundai for supporting the show. That's supposed to be in the background, but we probably need some
product placement.
We need some better adhesive glue, sticking patch. We've gone with the blue
maybe
tack.
some screws.
Yeah, that's probably going to be better. Isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, flopping the drop, flopping the
prop. Yeah, I feel like I've got away with it a little bit. Just a prop. I mean, it's not the most inspiring thing, like a prop. Like I think people give props a bad name.
You know what? I think the prop is one of the most important positions on the field, really, because they do everything. They have to these days. It's not just carting the ball up now. You've got to know how to pass. You've got to be like, you've almost got to be like a 5'8". Now, if you see some of them, yeah.
I mean,
you didn't have much of a passing game. Oh, you did.
I was going to say, Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, bloody.
No, sorry. For some reason, I was thinking of Marco Amelia. I was thinking of Ogre when I look at you sometimes. Just sometimes. It's only in the face. And you were both aggressive front rowers.
Yeah. But little bit of
jink.
A little bit of subtlety. Oh, great little ball player. Loved little short line ball.
It's great when your teammates work that out. So the first couple when you're doing that, you're looking and there's no one there.
Yeah.
And you're expecting someone to be there and you get nailed. And when they work that out, it's fine.
Yeah. I think some props probably need to stay in their lane. The Saifiti boy, the one that's the Dolphins, and you go,
yeah, he was on the fix. Yeah.
Maybe just because he carries really strong. His carry is really strong, but then he just threw that ball to
Here's one for you. Who I think has been outstanding already, been the best, is May for the Tigers.
Yeah.
What do you think about his pre-line passing? Have you taken much notice of it?
It's more of an offload, though. I'd say.
No, there's been some. I think it's something he can work on.
Yeah. I think he's got it in his locker.
He does have it in there, but I think it just needs to be a little bit of tweaking.
Yeah.
That's all. Because he almost comes to a stop before he passes. One of those ones.
Yeah, he's preempting the pass, which can be dangerous. Yes.
Yeah, he's got it there. Just fine tune it.
Yeah, fine tune it.
Yeah.
Some players don't have it. You know, what used to do my head in when coaches would say to some players, like, "Oh, what are you going to work on?" "Oh, yeah, I need to work on my pass." I'm like, "No, you don't."
Because you don't pass.
Because you
I need to work on my goal kicking.
This is that's what it'd be like. Your role within the team is to get the ball forward, and the likelihood of you being in a position to pass, because normally that shape is set up like Isaiah Yeo is there.
Yeah.
He does it because they plan for that.
Yeah,
because they don't want, for example, a Liam Henry doing it, because it just wouldn't work.
That would surprise a few teams. That's why.
Well, the element of surprise, but there was some player, I'm going to work on my passing game this summer. It's like, no, play to your strengths, which is clearly carrying the ball forward.
Quick play the ball.
Yeah. I used to say at my meetings every year, I just got to work on my speed a little bit.
But you can do that, though.
But you know what, though?
It's very hard.
Speed is
great,
basically genetically determined, as opposed to a skill attribution.
But it can be still worked on.
It can be improved with technique. But I'd argue, for me, my meters per second, is it worth the time investment?
What? I know what you're saying. Probably not. No.
Is it, because some things are worthwhile, like working on your fitness, definitely a worthwhile endeavor, because, well, one, it's an endurance sport, so
the fitter you are,
the easier things become.
I
think you can get bang for your buck. You can see a noticeable improvement. But for me, one, how often do I sprint? Not that often in a game.
Kick off, maybe.
yeah, but you're going, well, but I can keep up. Do you know what I mean?
But that's pretty much the only time you know you're going to have to sprint.
Yeah, and you're only sprinting.
First 30?
No, you'd never sprint 30. So you'd start on about the 50.
Because you started halfway.
No, you start on about the 55.
Yeah,
Sprint down, and then probably by the time
you're pulling
reach
up to
the 30, you're
set.
pulling out to get.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to see where the runner is.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Like I'm slower. If you sprint there, and the player would just run past. No, not even footwork.
Well, that happened to the Tigers with Buller on the weekend, and the Eels.
Yeah, sprinting is. But yeah, what I say.
What would you work on though? Fitness.
I'd probably just continue to improve. Basically, I think you get to a point where players, they just need to keep its maintenance and continue to improve football IQ, tactics, and
football IQ. I like that one.
And conditioning, because that can always be improved.
And some can you work on toughness?
You can work on areas to put yourself in and put yourselves out. Like some people avoid the action, and maybe maybe that's their strength, is they don't, because not all people are power athletes as well, but they don't want to be in those things, because if they go into those contests, they get exposed. Where some people play the long game, which is fair enough, but I don't know if it can be worked on. I don't know. Do you think it can?
No, you've either got it or you haven't.
What did you used to work on in the pre-season?
No, absolutely. You know what? I don't even know. What did I work on? Weight loss was one, probably in the pre-season. Fitness, definitely. But I didn't have to work on it. It was just one of those things that happened. Because at the back end, it was just all about the new wrestle and the new wrestle techniques and all
new
those
shape.
grabbing handles and all that sort of stuff. So no, I didn't really work on anything. Maybe, you know what, combinations, early days.
Yeah.
With my halves, with my centre, because I was a devastating wide running back rower early days. So I had to work on combinations there with my halves
timing,
and my hookers.
Don't get in the way.
Yeah. Just run that hole as hard as you can. If they hit you, they hit you. If they don't, they're going around the back to the fullback.
Yeah. So, probably not too low maintenance.
Very low. Very low maintenance.
Very coachability high. But
do this
and
do it the best you can, and that was it. Which is all that needs to happen anyway. I wasn't a tactician or anything like that. Even when I became captain, and you know when you get a penalty and everyone's looking at you to work out if you have to take the two or not, and I'm like, anyone? So if someone say take the two or kick for touch, I had no idea what to do.
I'm just focusing on my next job.
I had no idea what to do. So I just go, hey boys, what do you want to do? I'd look at Luke Burke because he was the goal kicker. So, mate,
that's up for the spine players, really.
Do you want to take? Yeah, don't look at me. I'd look straight to the bench, and if the trainer's doing that, we'll take the two, thanks. Yeah, because I had no idea.
Yeah,
I didn't even know what tackle count it was.
You know what? I still get confused. You know when if somebody ever tries to say to you like, oh, what are the rules of rugby league? Like we go to America, do we get 5 tackles or 6?
This is no lie.
Is it five and last? But then it's 6 tackle.
This is no shit on Saturday because Cleary got caught the play before the last, and I'm going, okay, and I googled this on Saturday. How many tackles in rugby league? Because it's always 5th and last. Does that mean?
Yeah.
So you get tackled on the 5th, and then that's the last one after that.
5th and last. Maybe you get 6 chances. I think
you get 6 tackles. You get 6 tackles.
6 chances to score a try.
Yeah, but if you get tackled, you get 6 tackles.
And
so
if you get 5th, and then therefore
5th and last.
5th. But also, is it 5th?
But you get tackled
last?
You get tackled on the 6th.
Yeah. So when they say 5 and it's last, I think they've messed up their English. It should be 5 and it's last.
But it's not the last
5th and
tackle,
last.
though.
No, because they're letting you know that was number 5.
Yeah.
And now it's the last.
But the 6th tackle is the last.
Is the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's your last.
So it's not 5th and last.
No,
because you get tackled on the 6th.
Yeah, I know. But what they're saying is that's the 5th tackle.
Yeah.
And now it's the last.
5th and 1 to go.
Yeah. So maybe the referees need to start letting us know.
I'm glad
5, and now it's the last, everyone.
Yeah.
Not 5 and last. Because that implies that was the last.
Well, I'm 45 years of age, and that's Still confused me.
You know what Eve is even worth? 0. Whoa! Zero is actually, the concept of 0 was only invented, I think the Romans invented it because they didn't have a
number
you think about, well, how many, you've got nothing, so you don't need to worry about counting nothing. But then if I've got like 1 carrot that I've grown, I've got 1.
And then you've eaten that though.
Yeah, but then I've got none.
Yeah, which is 0.
There's a different, well, I've got no carrots left, so I have nothing. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Right.
But why invent a number that's
Because 0 is very important.
in tackles or just in life?
In life. It actually, if you look
I have 0 money.
I've got nothing.
That's what.
There's a difference between having nothing and having 0.
Oh, look, this is tough. I had too many to drink on the weekend. Oh, this is not good for my brain at the moment. I'm still working that out.
Do you know what else is mad? Things like the multiplication table of 0.
Just 0.
But 5,
Rainbows are crazy. I can't get my head around rainbows.
5 times 0. But you've got 5 to begin with, and you times
Why
it by 0.
Why bother? Why have
Well,
it?
that should be who's ever multiplying things by 0?
No one.
Someone must be.
But why? Stop it.
No, but
Stop it.
honestly, I've listened to somebody speak about the importance of 0 coming in the
You do
mixer.
a lot of this. You listen. You go down some deep dark holes, don't you?
Mm.
When do you have time with all your gigs and everything to sit and listen? Do you do this in a car?
Sometimes in bed I'll listen to like philosophers.
Oh, I watch silly shows in bed. I like to just go to bed and just zone right out.
Yeah.
White Lotus is on. You been watching White Lotus?
No. What's that on?
I don't know. I don't even know what it's on. My wife has to
What's
tell.
it
I can't
about?
work out the TVs.
What's it about?
Really, it's just a family. It's just several stories in one show. Like there's plots here and there. Where, yeah, it's the 3rd series. Drive to Survive. You been watching that?
No.
The F1. Did you watch the F1 on the weekend?
No. Not
Good,
a big.
good chat.
Not overly keen on F1. Like it doesn't. I don't get that thrill of like, oh, he's taking him on the inside.
But if you watch Drive to Survive, I think you would, because it's a soap opera.
It's a human interest story, right?
Yeah. There's teams, there's personalities, there's friction, there's teammates who don't like each other, there's opposition teams that don't like each other. It's quite entertaining. Yeah. Well, you hate that driver because he said this about that driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a game changer in the popularity of F1, especially in the States.
My wife would not have any idea about what's going on. I made her sit because I wasn't hooked on it, but I'd keep an eye on what was going on in the F1. But then once I started watching Drive to Survive, then I started knowing other teams like Williams races and all that sort of stuff who I never really cared for because they'd always come last. So
yeah.
A
lot of their sponsors though, they don't appeal to me, like Rolex, and it's a very fancy sport. Like
Louis Vuitton was a sponsor in Melbourne on the weekend.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to buy Louis Vuitton. I want to watch sports where I'm being sold something as well at the same time.
Such as?
Lager beer.
Soap.
Insurance.
Oh, see, no.
I want
insurance.
I like that. But with the F1, it's like...
It's for the rich people.
Yeah, it's for the rich people.
Even the drivers, most of the drivers from rich backgrounds. Yeah. That can afford to race.
Yeah, it's a very expensive gig. Yeah.
But unless they're really good.
Just on that, going off topic a little bit, rugby league NRL needs
a documentary,
a proper documentary. I think
sports. What about Tales of Tiger Town? You didn't like that?
See,
apparently the Bellamy one's pretty good. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it, but
So Wigan Warriors did one. Like I think it's now where it needs to be done is State of Origin.
Yeah,
that's what the sports fans A expect, and B we can open ourselves up to it. Like,
but
it
has to be done properly. Like the ESPN needs to do it,
like proper behind the scenes, warts and all. Like
they follow them everywhere. Yeah,
get people.
They create riffs.
Yeah. Create storylines.
Create drama.
Yeah.
Create villains, good guys.
Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need that. I think obviously rugby league and coaches are naturally protective, but let's get in behind the scenes and sell it to people that don't normally watch our sport, become a human interest story, and then the sport fan now expects it.
How much do you involve the wives?
Like, of the players in State of Origin. That is for the producers to decide. Give the public what they want.
Because remember, have you seen quarterbacks? Quarterbacks with all that when they follow 4 or 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
around?
I know the concept of the show.
I watched the first episode, and there was too much wife stuff for me.
But then again, so this for the sporting documentary, me and you aren't the target audience.
Correct.
So they got
no, we can be. Can we not? Because if we're watching it, if we're watching other people. Well, you think other people, if we played the game and we've given the time up to watch it and we enjoy it, that means everyone else would, wouldn't they?
Look, it helps if we like it, but they're not tailoring the show to ex-pros.
It's for the non-rusted on.
Yeah. And that may include things like...
My family.
Behind the scenes, this is the... right. The relatability.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, where... We know the score.
Yeah.
You don't agree?
I don't even know where I'm at the moment.
Well, should we get into some news?
Let's head to some. Let's get in it. Look, we can talk. So many things we can talk about.
Yeah.
How many calories in a beer? Why do you wake up hungover? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you get sad for a few days after a drink? Just. Why does my head not work?
I was actually watching this comedian talk about, like Guinness.
Yeah.
So they've made...
I'll pull you up right there. So we had a drink on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Had some mates around because it was nice weather. The weather was beautiful. The last bit of hit of summer. My young bloke, he's 19. He went through a few beers and then he went back down to the bottle. Got driven down there because he's only on his P's. He's 19. So his brother's mate drove him, who's on his P's as well, but not 18. So my eldest had to go and buy the alcohol, not for the underage one, back for us because we ran out of grog. But he comes back with a 6-pack of Guinness and starts getting into the cans of Guinness.
Guinness on can is...
Tap would be much nicer.
Yeah.
But he's pouring it in there. Why do they put that ball in the can? Have you heard the can rattle?
Yes, I have. This is one of those questions I'm not going to answer because I don't know.
You don't know?
No. Don't look it up because you'll ruin it. You'll ruin...
Okay.
I reckon let's let our listeners tell us why they put the ball in the can.
Yeah, we need to find out why is there a can... For you Guinness drinkers, why is there a ball bearing or ball in the bottom of a Guinness can?
Maybe it's just for a laugh. Like Guinness have just gone.
It's a conversation piece.
Maybe it's a prize and no one's thought to like break open the can and there's something in there of value. And if Guinness haven't done that, then why aren't they doing it? Because how excited would you be? You finish your can of Guinness, you crack you open the can, you tear it. Be careful not to cut your
cut your hands to pieces.
That adds to the anticipation. Watch your hand, and then there's a little thing in there, and then you open it up, kind of like one of those things you get inside a Kinder Surprise. You know what Kinder Surprise is? The egg with the chocolate inside.
I know, yeah, but who?
But then you open that.
You're an adult.
Because you still know it's there.
Yeah.
And then there's a little prize, or there's not a prize.
You have to build those bloody things, though, don't you?
Yeah. But I think that would be great. Great marketing.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We can take that to Guinness.
Yeah. I don't know if you're allowed to be promotional of things like that.
Oh, because it reaches out to the younger audience, possibly.
Yeah. See, I had an idea.
But what younger audience is going to buy a can of Guinness?
Yeah, true. They get this is the point. I was going to say, no alcohol Guinness. They can have a 0% Guinness. Imagine just like a 10-year-old just flopping a pint of non-alcoholic Guinness. How good would that be?
Kicking back.
Just get all your kids alcohol Guinness and just say, if you want, that put them off drinking forever.
And on the plus side, you wouldn't have to feed them tea.
Exactly.
Because they'd be full.
Liquid
tea, dinner.
Yeah.
I get in trouble for saying this all the time.
Liquid dinner is a pint of 0 alcohol Guinness.
Yeah.
But this was the comedian was saying, you've managed to take the alcohol out of Guinness. Why don't you take the thing that makes your shit look like terrible the next day. Or take out the thing that maybe they have taken out the thing that gives you a hangover, the alcohol. I've not thought about this enough because they've killed two birds with one stone there.
Taking the alcohol out of Guinness.
Yeah, well, 0% Guinness.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
I know there's other beers that are 0%.
Yeah, I know, but 0% Guinness, like.
But here's one. No, would you drink zero alcohol? Honestly.
Tony,
So I've got a few friends.
Go on.
I've got a few friends who'll have a few drinks, right? They'll have a few heavies, but then they might sneak in 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 zeros.
Yeah.
So they're still feeling like they're social, which is I don't think is a bad idea. But I don't drink to be social though. I drink to.
I think if you're that
drown away
if you're that insecure that you think you need to be holding, they solved the problem that didn't exist. So there was already 0% beer. Water, Coke, Pepsi,
everything.
Sprite, you name it, cup of tea, cup of coffee.
So it's just the placebo effect.
Well, it's to make people who are insecure feel better. So, Tony, I'm going to tell a joke to Hindy. Can you blare this out? Because this cannot go out. So, a friend of mine told me a thing about non-alcoholic beer. He goes...
I've got nothing for that, really. That's pretty good.
It's a family-friendly show, so you can understand why that was...
Bleeped out?
Bleeped out.
Did you bleep out the whole lot? Or just the bit?
I think you've just got to bleep out the whole
lot, yeah. And put over some sort of music.
Yeah. Just finally to wrap this up, on
the show, we finished already.
We're done. See you next week.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
I thought about I'm about novelty things. I'm about collaboration, worlds colliding, like the Guinness with the prize.
Yeah.
I thought of a whiskey called The Answer, and it combines fortune cookies with alcohol, and the bit of advice is at the bottom of the bottle. So you've got to drink all the whiskey, and then it's got like the fortune cookie advice at the bottom of the bottle, and it's called The Answer. And they say that the answer's not at the bottom of the bottle, but it actually is. Can you imagine drinking your whiskey and then you look in the hole of the glass and it's like,
that's how you
think kind thoughts. You're like, brilliant.
And because you're pissed, you know how you're a deeper thinker when you're drunk too.
Yeah.
So, that is so true. That is so, I should do more of that. Yeah.
Let's get into some football. A couple of things off the top. The breach notice handed down to Morgan Smithies and Hudson Young.
Now, this was weeks ago. No one's been speaking about it since. Yes, it was a little disruptive for a few days while we're in Vegas, if you're in Vegas. Now we're bringing it up again when it's all been buried and done and dusted with and settled and sorted and apologised about.
Yeah.
Why bring it up again now?
Yeah. Why highlight it again?
Yeah.
Look, they say it was a storm in a teacup. It was a fart in a hurricane.
Yeah.
It was just...
I don't get that. And now we're going to start talking about, which we are already.
Exactly.
So that's going to bring it up again. But they had a bit of a scuffle, they had a bit of a wrestle. Security asked them to move on.
The only people that were hurt with themselves...
Did it bring the game into disrepute?
I don't think.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think any. I know we're changing what we are as a game, and the image is important for sponsors, and we want to bring them on.
Was it because it was in Vegas?
If that happens in Brisbane, or in Sydney, or in Newcastle, or in New Zealand, I don't think.
Is it a shot across the bow for those who are going to be going next year?
Potentially,
just to say, listen, no tomfoolery whatsoever.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, you know now that.
Unless they've done something that we totally don't know about.
That is the only caveat to that. Yeah. Let's get on to your Eels. Oh, Hindy, where do we begin?
Look, I've got no answers. I was sitting there watching it, and this was the same against Melbourne. I understand Melbourne was a different side altogether, but this was hard to watch. And it was hot. I'll give them it was hot, but it was hot for both sides. Whoever managed to hold the ball the longest, which was the Tigers in the end, was going to win the game. But the performance of the Eels, look, I'm still scratching my head trying to think, well, how do they change it? Where does the answer come from? And I can't find the answer to that. I can't find the answer.
Completely out of answers. They like.
Well, I don't think Mitch Moses is going to make much of a difference. To be honest, he'll obviously move them around the park a little bit more and
give them
a little bit more confidence, but that's going to be a long way away.
Well, he might create something. Mate, their attack was dreadful. Like, I know they scored basically the last play of the game. Before that, they didn't fire a shot. They didn't create an opportunity. Their best opportunity was a 2-on-1 on their own 30 that I think it was Sam Marani didn't pass. That was it. They created zero.
Well, but at the start, Dylan Brown didn't look. I didn't think the first 3 carries he said he was going to come out, which he did, and he kind of he upset the defensive line a little bit. But then I didn't see that after that with his ball running. Volkman in the halves. Look, I don't know if he's going to be the answer. Yes, he's still a rookie, still a bit green, but
they've got Hawkins.
Yes,
in Reggie's.
I wouldn't mind giving him a start because at the moment they just seem lost for direction. Penasini in the centres, I think, that
was a bad game from Penasini.
Oh, why? The reason he had a bad game is because he didn't trust his inside men. So he's sinking into the play, leaving his winger exposed. There's across the board. Something needs to change.
All areas of the game for me, defensively, they were very poor. Attack, pedestrian, but then also like the connection effort areas. It looked like an uneducated football side.
Yeah.
Like 3 times they kicked pressure from outside in.
And tip
on Luai. Of all the people to do outside in kick pressure on.
You can move up and spook him a little bit, but don't go all the way. Where he can tip on. You kind of try and scare him a little bit, but it's always from the inside. Always. You go for marker, you work hard for marker, he chases hard, your second marker ties in, or you work from A.
Played against players like Jerome Luai before, and what you talk about is dealing with him together. Because if you go Lone Ranger on that kamikaze mission, just one direction, he is going to make you look like a fool. And they did it 3 times.
That's the same as Buller on the start of the second. They kick chase.
Off the Lone Ranger.
He goes down by himself, which
I think it was...
was it Offie Ngowie that chased hard?
It was the edge back row. But
whoever it was. But anyway, still, he's got to realise, hang on, there's no one else with me.
Yeah.
I either pull up or my blokes running with me need to pull their finger out and get up with me.
Yeah.
Depending on how fresh he was when he came on, all that sort of stuff. But I'm looking at, if I've got someone like Buller in front of me and I've gone out early to chase him down, I'm looking left and right to find out where my defensive help is. And if I've put myself in a position where, as a forward, not the best footwork, not the best laterally moving, I'm shitting myself if I'm out there by myself.
You're exposing yourself and your teammates.
So just pull up.
Yeah.
To give him another 2 or 3 metres yardage to carry the ball, have a straight defensive line.
It was so
that
poor.
was done when they go down the other end and score.
Yeah, and like in attack, they had 41 tackles in their red zone, and it was so predictable. They didn't create any They didn't create any numbers. They had some plays where Lomax came and floated from the right to the left, but it was just.
And it's not lack of trying. They're not trying.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like people will go, the effort was shit, but the effort isn't shit. It's just not thinking and not doing things in a better way. So you can't go out on a field and say, look, there was no effort there, because you have to turn up and play rugby league. Yeah. There are some little things that they need to, they're not little things. Individuals have to, as a team, work on things. But look, I really don't know. I don't know where the next. They got the Dogs this weekend. They look like they're going to have a couple busted, but still, an understrength Dogs at the moment are going to beat what I saw on the weekend from
100%.
Yeah.
With Dylan Brown being booed, what did you make of that?
That's rugby league. We've all been booed for something or someone, but it is what it is. And we've said before, we don't care the Brownie's taking the money. You're not booing him. That's good on him.
Yeah.
Take the dough. We question the decision from the Knights to sign him on such money and for such a long time. So fans are going to get disappointed because they want him to stay. So they want him to stay. They're angry because he hasn't stayed, but that'll disappear.
And also, sports fans can't comprehend why for an extra 250 grand a year, you're going to wear a different team's colours. Like, if you, I totally get that as a Para fan. Like, when you're in the mixer as an athlete, we can understand why Brown has taken that offer to an extent, and it may have some ramifications for him later on that he looks back and goes, well, like, yes, security versus the ability to move. But Para fans, they don't. They're sports fans. And what they can't understand why he wouldn't play for free.
Yeah.
Like, do you know, like, that's the passion of sports fans, because why are you betraying? Like, it's like an act of betrayal.
That's what it's like.
It's betraying us for. There was a player for St. Helens, and the story only came. He signed for Wigan, which is a big no-no. And every time he played for Wigan against St. Helens, the fans would shout Judas at him. And he wanted to stay at Saints.
Yeah.
But basically, they accepted the transfer fee.
Yeah,
So he was like, well I'm going
now.
then.
Yeah.
And for like 10 years, he was a great centre. Gary Connolly.
Oh,
Judas. Judas. Every time he touched the ball. And we're talking like...
Did Gary Connolly come to the Dogs?
He did, yeah. Like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
After
he was a good centre.
Great player.
Yeah.
But every time he touched the ball for Wigan, the chant of Judas would go up.
Because he's no longer wearing their colours.
And this is like 5, 6, 7 years after he signed. They didn't move on.
Yeah.
Like, that stayed with them. That's sport fans.
Well, I think Jamie Lyon copped a fair bit of it too when he left to go to Manly. Well, he didn't leave straight away to go to Manly. He didn't sign Manly. He walked away. He walked away from the game first. Spent a year at We War Panthers where he won the comp there, and then he went over to you guys over in the Super League. So, but as soon as he came back and was signed with Manly, the first game back at Para.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They were throwing coins at him.
Yeah.
They're throwing coins on the field at him. So, but it'll die down. It'll die down. But the only thing Brownie can do is continue playing footy. And there is going to be 10 times more pressure on him now. 100%.
Well,
because
again,
for starters, not just because he signed this mega deal to go to, but because Parramatta are in a hole.
Yeah.
And he was there next in line to be the saviour. You know, Mitch Moses is out. Well, we're looking at Brownie now because Gutho's gone.
Not just that. He's on a big deal for this year at Para.
Yeah.
So you expect more from him.
Yeah.
Like, you expect more from him, and he's a bit of this. Could arguably be a bit of the scapegoat, but that's what comes with the price tag.
Yeah.
And he's going to get that even more next year. So, like,
it's going to be a big test for him.
Mate, I was going to ask you, do you think Brown and his representatives look to try and go this year?
Well, I don't know if it was a coincidence, but after round one, all of a sudden he was quick to sign after round one when they got to hiding from Melbourne. I don't think Brownie would want to do that. I don't think he's that sort of player just because they're not travelling that well. He'll stick it out.
But he's only human. No one likes copping abuse from you.
I know. But it's not. Is it like it was barely? It wasn't everyone booing him. It wasn't. It wasn't a big boo. You could hear it over. I watched it on telly. You could hear it over the TV. That was a slight. It wasn't a heavy, deep boo. But regardless, they were still booing. But I don't think. I think he'll stick it out. He'll stick it out.
Yeah. See,
if they do ask and he goes early, that's when I'd have the shits.
I don't think it's about him asking to go early. I think it's about everyone getting in the room and saying, "Can we work this out?" Because if you look at where Para are after
what's the goal now though? Not to win the spoon. That'll be it.
But then it is. But then let's.
I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Look, I've gone off a bit early there. It's round two.
It's round two. It's round two. So they're not.
I've gone off way too early.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump forward. If Parramatta go out of finals contention, he doesn't get picked.
On his performances so far,
just doesn't get picked because he's moving.
So
on.
what do? You someone? You bring someone else in that's going to be contracted there for another couple of years, or is there the following year?
It wouldn't. All right. It wouldn't. I don't think it would surprise anyone if come round,
you're
18,
right.
if Para are out of contention, they just go,
Yeah.
we're gonna blood Hawkins.
Or we've got this other bloke coming up from
Moses will be there, and let's put Hawkins in. Like, why wouldn't you?
Got some 18-year-old, 19-year-old playing flag.
Let's just give him.
That could possibly happen. Yeah.
So if that's where it could go, that's no good for Dylan Brown. It's no good for Newcastle next year. They'd want him playing football. Do they look at going, all right, if we can get Hastings out the door?
Yeah. Do we get him early?
Do we try and get it? Because Hastings would be on about 8. Maybe Brown's on about 9 now. If they've got an extra 50, 100K in their cap up their sleeve, Newcastle, which I don't know if they do they go, let's get Hastings out the door, in comes Brown, and then we can all move on.
Geez, you're a deep thinker, aren't you? That could possibly happen. Yeah. Don't know. Well, because we're in round 2. We don't know where they
I'm obviously forecasting ahead, but based off what we've seen from Para, it's like
it's
Moses will
looking,
be back.
It's looking pretty
Fox
bad.
will be back,
but is Fox going to save you?
He'll finish. Well, they're not.
He's not going to.
Can't create by
He's
himself.
not going to cart the ball out of his own end and skittle 3 or 4 players and get a quick play of the ball, is he?
No,
he got to get him the ball in open space. Yeah. And who's doing that at the moment?
No one. Well, I think Moses has said his injury is now.
Everyone knew that was going to be longer than what we expected.
What's it like there, Hindy, when things are going bad? Because we know about this shadow that the great team of the 80s casts over the club, the city. But what's it like when things are like this for such a big club?
Really bad. But it's not from lack of trying, and you're working your ass off at training. You're probably doing more than what you would usually do, just trying to fix things, and then you start overthinking, and then you start. Rilesy's the first coach. As long as you don't start questioning the coach's, game plan, that's when shit really hits the fan. I had a coach, and we were struggling. But then all of a sudden at training, there was little cliques at training, trying to work things out, bitching about other things, and then whinging about the coach and all that other stuff. That's when it kind of gets bad, because you're just trying to come up with something instead of, just it's hard because
did you find? I've seen this happen where people nod and agree in the meetings. And then
I'll walk out.
They go, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
There was plenty.
Tell him then.
There was plenty of that. Yeah.
Tell the person that's delivering the message.
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
Yep. Yeah, there was plenty of that. But when we win the spoon last, 2012. Yeah, that was a shit year, very bad year. But it wasn't from lack of trying. It was just, unfortunately, that was the year, and every team has to go through it, some more than others, and you're scratching your head every Monday, you're looking at video session, and you can fix that, and then it comes to game day and you fix it for 40 minutes, and then all of a sudden it falls apart, or you get next week you get to 60 minutes and you're doing well, and then the last 20 minutes you fall away. It's a number of things. It's personnel, it's coaching, it's desire, it's all those things.
Do you reckon there's an element that they're waiting for Mitch to come back to save them?
Well, they had enough without him last year as well, and still performed. I think the fact that Gutho's gone, and he was a real leader, and regardless of the scoreline, you know what, Gutho was going to turn up and play rugby league. He was going to turn up and play, and he was going to lift the boys, and boys were looking at him for inspiration, which he gave them too with his plays. It just unfortunately, Gutho, they moved him on. I thought they had to move. I thought it was the right call from Rilesy to do that. And you didn't want to have to find a place for Gutho. You didn't want to make up a centre spot for him, because he's not a centre, he was a fullback.
Yeah.
He's lost that yard of pace. But it is going to be a tough year for Para. Very tough.
I think just to finalise on Para in this game, got to give a bit of credit and a bit of love to the Tigers. To see Bula, Galvin, Luai,
they're going to be a tough team to beat this year when they get it right. They got May up front. I think Alex Twal he's been playing outstanding at lock.
Ole's pretty good.
You got Dewey,
actually,
who's still finding form playing in the centres. You got Taruva, who scored a bloody hat-trick on the weekend. He's no slouch. So they have got a very good side, the Tigers.
Yeah, I think.
And their spine was they're probably their best spine they can put on the field on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? They're going to be a tough side to beat when they get it all right and they sort it all out.
They've been an easy kick, the Tigers.
They have been because they've won 3 wooden spoons in a row.
So good on them for getting that victory.
It is 3, isn't it? I hope that's right.
It is
3?
correct.
Yeah.
I want to go to another coach who has put his team in the spotlight. They were up 24-12, the Dragons. Souths come back at 24-all. One of the things that really annoyed me in this game is it was Keon Koloamatangi. The Dragons play 4 into 5 just before their last. Koloamatangi's been involved in the tackle. Dragons got a quick ruck. They didn't go they should have been setting up for the field goal.
Yeah.
Referee calls time off because Koloamatangi's injured.
Yeah.
It's a burner on his shot.
Yeah.
He's just like rubbing his shot like.
But
you know what?
And that stuffed the whole.
It stuffed the momentum.
Yeah.
And look, I'm all about player welfare, but I'm
But the damage was done before that, though.
It was, but this is a thing about the game, about getting quick play the balls, getting momentum. I think it has to be the most extreme injury for the referee to stop play. Yeah. Not even move the ball to the side, but actually blow time off and get the player attended to.
He's got to be broken leg or concussed, heavily concussed.
Or like the referee makes a call, like knocked out. Not a stumble, it's like...
Your fingers are doing these ones.
Or it's actually dangerous.
I think you can say, you're dead. Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's hope that doesn't...
But, I know what you're saying, yeah. I find that I think we're trying to speed the game up. We want to speed the game up, don't we? We want more ball in hand time and all that sort of stuff. But then we're stopping the game for those minor things. I find the minor things.
He just had a bad shoulder.
Also, we're blowing time out to get a player to step back half a metre on his mark.
Off the mark,
which slows it down as well. But the damage was done.
Yeah.
Well, Kepi scored.
That was 24-all. So but the Dragons didn't...
24-12 up, and then you get... Was it Mamazelis?
Mamazelis scored early.
Out of dummy half.
And that was Gutho's fault. He was upright.
But
what he was doing.
You can't... That's the worst place to get scored on, from dummy half.
But Gutho got his body positioning all wrong. He just he was vertical. He didn't crouch down. I think...
But then Kepi scored one off the rack straight out.
I wonder if Gutho is suffering from a bit of over-functioning with leadership, where he thinks he has to be everybody's saviour. And instead of focusing on his job, which was look after Mamazula as the dummy half, and then
he's worried
help.
He's worried about the kick.
Worried about
but that would be
not even the kick, but getting on his bike.
Really, I'm just trying to think of the play leading up to it, that tackle before. But what was he? Because he had to make that tackle. He was standing there. Because usually, we'd get pushed in, like Gutho would pull back a little bit and drag us into that space.
He was in the marker position.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
Split marker, and he was
pull
upright.
out of that though. Yeah.
Or even just get crouched low.
Yeah.
So if the dummy half goes,
thing.
Once the pass is gone, then you get on your bike.
Yeah.
But the try from Kepi as well. It was a tap penalty. He took he took that play. Then it was, I think, Havili.
And then
Kepi again.
Yeah, but where it was scored and how it was scored,
you got to deal with that.
That was the Tigers. I thought the week before as well. A little bit against the Dogs, where there was moments where they just switch off, and they stop thinking. But 24-12 up, I think they may have. There was a lot of time to go. There was still 20 minutes to go. 24-12 up. I think they started doing a few of these ones because the ease in which they scored a few of those tries, down that left edge.
And South's decimated. They probably did fall into that trap. Flano after the game, he questioned Gutherson and Cook, and he also questions Ilias. But he's since come out and apologised publicly to Ilias. It's a weird one though. I've looked at the Dragons roster, and talking about Parra and Moses to come back and Hawkins. There's on Dragons roster. There's no other halves. It's Ilias and Flanagan. That is that's it.
Well, I think Ilias needed to do a bit more. A fair bit more.
Yeah. He should have. He's in control of that game, the kicking game, and accept.
Oh, but that's all he seemed to do was kick. He's just getting there, getting like, oh, let's kick it. And there was not much in between.
Yeah.
The first tackle and kick on the sixth tackle.
On the sixth, which is the last.
Six and last.
No, five and last. Five and last. Six. It's not six and last. It's 6 and 10. Turn it over. You got to hand the opposition the ball.
I'm glad. I'm so glad someone else was confused with that.
I reckon most footballers
in
the closet would have no idea. They're like, oh yeah, but fake it till you make it.
Because if you went through my history, you would see that on Saturday. Like how many.
It's bad, isn't it? Played the game as a professional for like basically 15 years, 30 years between us, and we don't know how many. Like basically one of I reckon if you picked up the rugby league rule book, that is like rule number 1.
Yeah.
Well, also 13 players, 4 interchanges. Each team gets 6 chances.
But
it's like rule 3, we don't know.
So many things I'm still even I'd be too scared to put the foot on the dead ball line or something like that, and catch on the full.
Yeah, you only have to touch it. I was very
if it's rolling, because you used to be able to bat it when it was rolling.
When it was rolling, foot over the line
and touch it.
I don't know.
Can you do that anymore?
I don't know if you can. It's now in goal. Yeah, because if you straddle, yes. I don't know.
There's so many.
Well, I think there's certain positions that need to know that rule, and it's wing and fullback.
That's
maybe centres. You'd like to think.
That's true.
Yeah, I remember once we played. Dogs played Broncos, and we did a short dropout that didn't go 10. And I think
was it a penalty back then?
No. So
what is it now?
So if it doesn't go 10, it is a penalty to the receiving team.
Yeah.
But I think it was Jordan Carhu from the Broncos. He had a rugby union background.
Touched it before?
No, he didn't touch it. He grabbed it and scored. He thought he'd scored a try. No, you are now penalised.
Yeah, because it hasn't gone the 10.
Yeah, Dogs went short, didn't make the 10. We've gone, like through our hands.
Everyone looks around the ball.
Who's grabbed the ball, dove over the line, ref's gone, penalty to Bulldogs, which is a stupid rule, really. You're just saving time. We didn't break the plane. The penalty should be us, but it's whoever touches it until it's dead. Jordan Carr picks it up, scored. We get the penalty. We end up coming back and winning that game. It's like, on you, Jordan.
Bloody wingers.
Bloody wingers indeed. But the Dragons, they've now got the bye. Coach Flanagan came out publicly and said, you don't want to be one of my players for the next 10 days. That is a little bit of old school.
Because I think the Dogs were maybe different, because they should have won on the week. They should have won against South.
Yeah,
they should have won that game. Yep. They should have put that game to bed. No one was there to control it though. They should have put that game to bed, and probably the Dogs as well. I thought they had enough ball to do what they needed to do against the Dogs as well. I thought they started off really well and just didn't finish it off.
Yeah.
So they'll be in, but rightly so though. You've got to know when you've stuffed up.
You do, but with the modern day player, with sports science, with a bye in round 3, your team of people would have planned for the schedule in the bye, and might have involved a few
yourself
days.
Being a rugby league player, you can get your roster out. You know everything. You've got your week there ready to go. That may change overnight. You know that.
Oh yeah, you do. Well, we know that.
Yeah, it's like there's no such thing as a public holiday or anything like that when you're playing footy or anything. And you get your roster on the just say that you might get it today for what your week is. Right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, play Friday or whatever it is. But that you might have weights in the morning. That'll change tomorrow. We've got conditioning now because I think you're underdone. So
we need to react based off but the sports science stuff, I reckon Flano's biggest challenge will be the sports science stuff that throw words like it's periodization, Shane. We've got to,
But the head coach, he'll just go, you can stick your sports science fair up your ass. Like, I'm flogging these blokes for doing this. But some of them
get a bit precious, and be like, all right, well, I'm not going to sanction.
I don't. I'm a different era, and I get in trouble for this all the time. Oh, you're a dinosaur. You live in it. I did what I was told. I did by the coach.
But also,
that was sports science didn't come in until the back end of my career with the What are those little things in the back of your jerseys?
GPS.
GPS. Yeah. What do they do?
Track you.
For what? Did you get a break? Did you just keep running?
Also, well, really, I used
What's
to
it tracking?
I used to hate the head of performance telling me to not do extras after training for conditioning. So,
Did you get told that, did you?
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's a 6-day turn. It's like, mate, I'm doing this because I need to do it. It's about mental preparation, like all these little things.
Oh, mate, my best, I had none of that. That was just trained. But I did have it, Craig Catterick. You know Craig Catterick? He's a been trainer. He was a trainer for Para. He's done nights. I think he's up at nights now. We used to do pool sessions.
Yeah.
When I was back into my career. And we would go down the pool, which was a walk across the road, and we would sit there. I'd take my flippers down because I couldn't swim without flippers. I'm a terrible swimmer. Take the goggles down and never swum in Speedos. Barely ever anyway. Was always in my footy shorts.
Good. Well done. I respect.
Hot chocolate, would sit there and pretend we'd come back. We'd dive in the water. I would dive in the water so I looked wet when I came back, have the towel wrapped around me. And we would just sit down there and have a hot chocolate. It was the best. I loved that. Didn't happen often, but he'd say, right, because he'd know me, because he was my trainer in SG Ball as well.
Yeah.
And he came through my whole career.
Yeah, and that's developing a relationship.
Yeah. But he knew, he goes, oh, you're, but you'd still go out but you go, all right, you and I pull session. Let's get a hot chocky.
Yeah. But, mate, I reckon that's respect, because, again, a low maintenance person, you just need, you're not going to teach Nathan Hindmarsh anything. Pool sessions are an interesting one. Josh Reynolds used to put blue tack in his ears.
Oh, because he had ear infections.
I don't know.
That's what it would be.
Or
he hated water in his ear.
Don't know. It used to make me laugh though. But then the pool that we used to go at Canterbury, the tiles were a bit knackered at the bottom, so I used to swim in my socks, which used to be
why were they sharp or they cut or
they
knackered?
cut your feet.
Yeah.
So I'd swim in my socks. I was I'm like, two big surprises. The Chuckies against the Penrith Panthers.
No one would have seen that coming.
$4.
$4 and what, $11 for a win for the. I think they blew out once. Who scored
Alamotti
scored that first try. I think they blew out into the 20s or maybe the 30s.
You've been tracking your life better. That's a lot.
No, this is coming from a few blokes I work with at Fox, so who don't mind a bet. But
did they load up on the Panthers?
No.
They were anytime try scorers.
No, they didn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, I don't think. But what a turnaround! What a turnaround from the Chooks. I know the Panthers were very, I don't think we'll see the Panthers play like that again. But it was kind of a sign of what could happen a little bit more often than not this year with the Panthers, I reckon.
Ah, okay.
I
so
believe.
You're seeing.
I'm not. They will still be there.
The empire.
Yes. It could possibly be.
This is the end of.
But the last 3 or 4 minutes when Nathan Cleary and the likes of Isaiah Yeo and everyone else decided they wanted to turn up and play and got it right, how potent were they to come back?
Just on that, Connor Watson won them that game. So on Casey McLean's try, last play they're down to 12. He makes an effort to sort of block the path of Casey McLean to coming round to the post.
Yep.
Nathan Cleary takes the ball back, hits the post.
Yes.
And it was all because of Connor Watson, which makes it an 8-point game.
You need to tell the kids
as
down the barrel.
opposed to a 6-point game. And those are the things that make the difference.
Yes.
Because if it's now it's an 8-point game, they have to take that too. If that's a 6-point game, when the Panthers get that penalty, I think they've got 3 or 4 minutes to play with. They win that game. They win, and we're talking about the brilliance, how Penrith can mastermind these incredible comebacks. Connor Watson, he didn't even get out of a sprint. He just kept moving. He followed the ball. The kick went over to the right. He's playing in the middle. He'd done a ton of work. He just moves. And Casey McLean gets the ball on the overlap, and he's just there to block him. And Cleary hits the post, and it's Al Pacino.
It's a good one to show the up and coming kids. This is what you do, because that the 2 points is a ball game.
Al Pacino, the game of inches. Well, if that's a meter, Nathan Cleary hits the post bang on. If he's half a yard in, he nails it.
He gets it in, sneaks it in.
And that's the difference. Like Connor Watson.
And then you look at the Dragons game with Flanagan scoring.
Yes.
When he stepped back inside.
Yeah,
You know, he was lucky, but he knew he wanted to improve that
Yeah.
kick because it's 2 points could be the difference at the end of the
Exactly.
game. Well,
Makes
was 1
him-
point the difference, but yeah,
No, it was brilliant from Watson. It saved.
he had a good game all around.
Yeah,
he was
did.
outstanding.
But that
Yeah.
little movement, sometimes it comes down to that decision to either move or not.
Yep.
And Watson did that. Also, obviously, they had a concreter, geezer in who basically worked the next day, couldn't go to recovery. A bloke that helped his dad
had to
out.
pour a slab.
Yeah, imagine that.
Slabs don't stop for anyone.
What were you doing last night?
Yeah, just
Did you have a few beers? A few knock-off Friday night beers? Nah, I was actually playing. A bloke, they pulled off the racetrack, him and his dad, racetrack on-site bookies. Brilliant. Love that. Wonder if he's... Have you ever seen people that speak tic-tac? Maybe it's an English thing.
no.
Double carpet, 33-1. Up
No.
the arm, 9-4, 6-4, 7-4. There's actual like a bookmaking language, track language.
there?
Yeah, where bookmakers would signal to each other. So double carpet, 33-1, you double tap
Right.
like that. I can't remember the rest, but it's all these make anyway, beside the point. Do you think the Roosters, in a weird way, were almost helped by no Collins, no Radley? And I say this because sometimes when you approach a game and you have nothing to lose and everything to gain, that mentality can actually help you, as opposed to, we've got some...
I think
we've still-
I think it can relax you a lot more.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it can. Yeah, when no one gives you a hope in hell, I think that it does relax you a lot more, and you can play a more relaxed style of footy rather than thinking, oh, this is going to be a tight game. We can't afford to knock on or push that pass here or do any of that. So that does play in your hands sometimes. Definitely. Yeah, but I thought when I heard Collins was ruled out with an illness, I thought they're no chance whatsoever.
Should have been $1.
Should have been. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was with you. I thought $1.04 was a
Will
generous.
they continue though, the Chooks, you reckon? Will they does that set them up for a better season than what we expected after what we saw against the Broncos? Are you getting them making the 8?
No.
No.
But again, maybe we read too much into their round one, but then let's not fall for the same trap of reading too much into round two. Because
Tedesco was also probably one of the freshest games I've seen him play.
I reckon it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle of that. I reckon Roosters will likely struggle with consistency.
Yeah.
And we'll see some great wins and we'll see maybe some more poor losses.
Yeah.
Because the depth is going to be tested and it's so hard to get up like that each and every week. It was great effort, but I'm not saying that they're fully back, but I'm not now thinking that it is as bad as maybe it once as we thought it was in round one.
Yeah.
The Broncos, Canberra, I think.
But that's probably another thing that Sticky would have used as well. People giving him no chance down there against the Broncos, red hot Broncos after round one, good preseason lead in. Sticky would have been down there, and we all know he would have been saying everything under the sun. They're giving us no chance, boys. Let's get out there and flog them. Let's take on their forward pack, which they did. I thought the Raiders forwards were
enormous,
were bloody outstanding. Yeah, they were tough, and that was up from the opening kickoff. Horsburgh,
Papali'i,
Big Pappy, he was killing it. Big Pappy, Hoskins,
Hudson Young, and Matty Nicholson as well. What a debut!
Double
on debut!
Yeah, because he's one of your boys, isn't he?
Yeah. 21. How good.
21.
Coming over here
From Warrington.
I think he started at Wigan, moved to Warrington, and then over here. But probably one player you got to give a rap to as well. They've signed Brayley for next year. They've got that young Owen Patty, but I thought Tom Starling, both games.
So what does that mean though?
I think it means he's gone.
No one's picked him up though.
Not yet, but
he was outstanding. He was their best in Vegas, I thought.
Yeah. I'm with you in that. Best in Vegas, and he had a massive contribution to that game. Like considering they've gone with Brayley,
Parra would be interested in a 9 because Parra needs a 9.
Mate,
without any disrespect to the 9s we've got there, but a genuine 9.
Starling, he needs to play NRL each and every week. He'll be snapped up by someone.
unless they're thinking Brayley interchange off the bench.
But they've got that Owen Patty guy there that they've got massive raps on. Massive raps. It was a big performance from their pack because I was chatting with a few Raiders boys in Vegas, and they asked me like, "Oh, we'd had a few beers. Who do you reckon the best prop is?" "Oh, who's the best prop?" And I was like, "Oh, look, Payne Haas." And they're like, "No, it's Taps. It's Taps." They're blowing up.
Well, their own teammates were saying this.
Yeah, they were like, "It's Joey Tarpany."
Yeah,
they've got, and rightly so. Like they back Tarpany as the best front rower in the comp. I'm like, oh, look,
well, that's good to know.
Whatever. Like,
do you know?
Personally, I think it's Payne Haas.
I think it's Payne Haas.
There's not much between them, but
yeah,
him missing. I reckon for the Raiders boys to be without their man that they wouldn't swap for anyone.
Yeah,
was huge. Like I thought, yeah, that gives me a lot of hope for the Raiders that they can tune in for their main man when he's not there, rather than crumble when
our main man's not there. Yeah. That's a good thing. Yeah, because a lot of sides will go, oh, our main man's out. Let's fold like a deck of cards.
There's your excuse.
Yeah,
come and save us next like 2 weeks. But against Haas, Carrigan, Hetherington, Willison, I thought they didn't dominate, but they won.
I thought they
won.
I thought they wrestled very well, and and they slowed that ruck down. Quick. I mean, not quick, but slowed it down. Like the opening couple of sets defensively from the Raiders, I thought they were going to give away. They should have given away half a dozen penalties. They just lying all over the Broncos players.
Some issues for Broncos goal line D, like the Tamale try down the short side, like brave from the Raiders, but just got exposed. And then both lines from Nicholson, they isolated those edge back rowers and the halves. Once he went past Gajewski. Once he went past Ben Hunt,
Benny Hunt just he went in with his head on the wrong side, got a good bump and spin and
But Nicholson runs a great line, but Ben Hunt's come all the way. Even if he goes out the back,
he's crossed him. Oh because he's run that.
Yeah, he's come all the way to try and. I know Ben Hunt's messed it up with his positioning.
Yeah,
but there's space out the back there, which is a 3-on-2.
Because that's what the back row should be doing, running that good down line or whatever it is, unders line, down line, or whatever you want to call it. To bring in that,
make the half, make a decision. Yeah,
and then it's a.
But there was, I'm pretty sure from memory, all the Raiders' tries came from inside the 20, which Maguire will be filthy. There was no real breakaway tries. The Starling
Papali'i try,
was off a kick. Like numbers in the. These are the things
he had to be there to pick the ball up. Yeah,
and why wasn't there more Broncos
on the
picture?
Scene? Yeah, they were gassed though. They did gas the Broncos.
Yeah.
But there was times when I think I saw Jordan Ricky a few times just doing these ones behind the ruck, just standing there. Yeah.
But these are the things that Maguire's not going to accept. Like, round one, we all fell back in love with the Broncos. What a difference Maguire makes. And then now it's like the same defensive issues that they had last year.
Okay, round two against the Raiders. What did you think of the Broncos fullback?
I thought he was quiet.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
And some errors.
But quiet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't get the start he wanted.
Yeah, but that's the case for people like.
But you look at Jai Gray though.
Look at Jai Gray and how
who's just been the last 2 weeks been everywhere,
been outstanding.
Yeah,
but then you look at the hammer. So Walsh isn't on his own in some fullbacks, some star fullbacks that are struggling to influence the game.
I've never played fullback in my life. But you surely can involve yourself more when you want to. Can you not? Like surely you can chime into a back line out the back. I know you're not always going to get it, but still be around.
Be busy.
Or you're hanging around the ruck a little bit for an offload or be just hovering.
I think.
Or have a carry.
Well, but that's it though. I think this is where the game plans of different coaches and different teams sort of help for involvement.
Well, you look at Gutho will carry it on the 5th.
Well, but he goes
the 5th or the 4th?
Second to last. Before the kick. He'll carry before the kick. Same with Jai Gray.
Gets a quick play of the ball.
But if you're the Broncos...
But also Jai Gray, I think what I like about Jai Gray is he knows when his big boys or his outside backs are knackered.
Yeah.
And he'll go, give me the ball here. Play one. He'll at least try and poke his head under play it quick.
But also the reason a lot of fullbacks take that run is because they're not involved in the kick chase.
Yeah, I understand.
So if you're not involved in you take that run, you wait out the back, So that gives you, and also the
yeah.
like you say, forward are tired. But if you're the Broncos, I probably want Payne Haas to take. If I'm Adam Reynolds, I probably don't want Reece Walsh getting smashed.
Yeah.
I want Payne Haas, Carrigan to Jordan Ricky to get me a quick play the ball as opposed to Reece Walsh.
Yeah.
Because, and also, I'm probably, if I'm Reece Walsh, I'm fearful that I'm going in. That's not my go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because Jai Gray does it doesn't mean. Like,
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know. Like they've all got they play to their strengths.
What did you think of Walsh's performance?
No, very quiet.
Yeah.
I was like, looking around trying to find out where he was on the field.
Yeah.
Compared to the week before.
Well, to be fair, in that game against the Broncos, he
had a couple of good runs.
Yeah.
But I think he had those early
Yeah.
where he looked like he was on fire. And I think that sets his game up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good early touch from Reece Walsh. But like, you know, we talk about Reece Walsh because he's one of the stars of the game, and this comes with the stars. And it wasn't like he was bad, but he was just quiet.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is bad.
Which for a guy of his, we expect it every week.
Yeah.
And you know, go back to the start of the show, Dylan Brown, and like
you've got to have
every
an outcome.
performance is going to be
you've got to be involved in the
because
game.
of the price.
Yeah.
The price tag. It is what it is, whether you like it or you don't. And even if your team wins, like Nico Hines spoken about playing for the Sharks. Fitzgibbon's like, why are you asking me about the performance of Hines? Like it's bad. We won.
I did think he was good on the weekend.
But well, yeah. So I thought he had some good involvement.
Yeah.
But like the expectation with Nico is he dominates games.
He has to. He's in the halves. He's a big game player.
Yeah, and he's on good freight.
Big money. But he's their general. So that comes with the territory, does it not?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And we're not all don't have all of the privileged positions being like the Panthers do when they've got a fullback, they've got a lock, they've got a back rower, they've got a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
who are all looked at probably almost all in the same light. Probably Cleary stands out, obviously.
Dylan Edwards had a bit of a really bad 10 minutes in Vegas, and he had some moments he'd want back in Friday night's game as well. But I think with Edwards, because we see effort over the last 5 years, each and every week.
But that's all we need to see, though.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what I'm getting at. It's the effort.
Yeah.
It's the effort.
Yeah.
It's being in the picture, as they say.
Yeah.
All the time.
But Edwards made some mistakes, but there's no way.
I can handle make mistakes.
His performance isn't going to be highlighted to the same degree as a Reece Walsh or Tabuai Fidow or a Gutherson or
Tabuai needs to involve. This is my opinion. Needs to be seen a little bit more as well.
Yeah, definitely. Dolphins. Look, I think what cost them that game would obviously that was all the way back on Thursday. They had 3 or 4 penalties with the ball, 2 roll balls from Kafusi, and then he was caught interfering with the mark.
Marshall King had 2 play the balls.
Yeah, but Kafusi got caught getting back onside, interfered with the markers after Nicarima made that break.
Yeah,
that was like a huge turning point in that game. We need to see more from the Dolphins. I've got a lot of faith in them.
They were running them. So if the touchy wasn't there to tackle the winger, they kept getting pushed into touch because they're just running the same angle.
Yeah,
there was no one changing an angle.
Yeah,
as in they were all running overs line, so they're just running each other to the touch line.
Very sideways. Yeah, very sideways.
So the Hammer was getting the ball, running like this, and then pretty much handing it to the
and it just becomes a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3.
Yeah.
The Cowboys against the Sharks, just to finish off, Cowboys would be so disappointed with 2 games against teams they would consider themselves to be
on par with
in the same bracket, Manly and the Sharks. Sharks all the way to Vegas, back all the way to Townsville.
I think with a team like the Cow, they're going to improve. I think they'll get it right. They'll get it right. And this seems to be a bit of a running thing with them at the moment, where they just can be so poor, and then all of a sudden they'll turn up and play some proper footy.
Defense is a big issue, and they dropped Jeremiah Nanai.
He'll be back this week, surely.
I wonder if they've got to bring Clifford in for the young guy, Dufty. Might be a great player, but I think they need a bit of experience, and I don't think this is helping the long-term development of Dufty. I think Clifford comes and brings.
This is that funny area, isn't it? Where you're not dropping him. Are you dropping him on performance, or you're dropping him just to if he does go that way.
Yeah.
It's when does that really
Well, if you
hit him
if,
hard?
if you
and
take
go,
him
"Oh,
out of the
shit."
team and then Clifford comes in and he brains it and they win, it's like, oh
Is
god.
it, how does it, what does it do for his psyche? You know,
But
does
again, it's probably not about him at the minute. It's about what's best for the team, and is what's best for the team a more experienced halfback? I'd say
yes, yeah, I'm with you.
At this moment in time, I think defensively they had some big issues.
Are you yawning over there?
Tony's tired. Maybe that's
Is that a sign?
I think that's a sign that
I saw the sign. Ace of base.
What's the next? What? I saw a sign.
It
Opened up. I saw a sign. I'm a singer. I love that. When you don't know the words. I saw a sign.
Something like it.
You doing anything for St. Patrick's Day? Any beers?
No.
No.
Yourself?
I mean, look, there's a reason to drink, so it would be rude not to.
How many? Because it's today.
Units.
Is it
it's
today?
actually
Monday?
today. Yeah. Monday
the-
comes out. This podcast comes out on Tuesday.
I know,
So
yeah.
this could be one of those. This could be like those. This gets clipped up. This was the. Oh, I'm just gonna go up, and then it's like next minute back page, front page. Graham said he was only having 20 pints of Guinness, officer.
But how many?
I've only had two. I've only
How
had two, officer.
How many will you have?
Today.
And whereabouts?
Might head down to the Snug Bar in Guyamere, which is an Irish bar, but I actually know it will be at capacity, but there is a great sneaky way to get in because it has a shared bathroom with a restaurant.
I see.
And it has been known before on St. Patrick's Day to people enter the restaurant, ask for a table at the restaurant,
And then don't use the table?
and then go to these shared bathrooms and then go back.
But who picks up the kids from school?
Someone else, I don't know. Not me. No, I don't know. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Great excuse.